2 years ago, I met a man named David at a community wellness workshop. He was 72, sharp-minded, kind-hearted, and frustrated. "I take my vitamins, I eat well, I even walk every morning," he told me. "So why do my legs feel weaker? Why do I keep getting these strange cramps at night?" David wasn't looking for sympathy. He was looking for clarity, because like so many others, he was doing everything right. Daily supplements, regular movement, a clean diet, but something wasn't adding up. His legs, the very limbs that had carried him through a full life of work, travel, and family, were starting to feel unreliable. And then we looked closer, not at his workouts, not at his shoes, but at his supplements. What we found surprised him, and it might surprise you too, because we often think of vitamins as simple positives. If a little is good, more must be better. They're safe, they're healthy, they're essential. Right? Not always. In fact, growing research shows that when taken incorrectly, certain vitamins, especially ones meant to protect your body, can quietly disrupt muscle function, impair nerve signaling, and weaken your legs over time. And the worst part, the symptoms often look like aging, so we don't question them. Fatigue, cramps, stiffness, numbness, poor balance. We assume it's just the years catching up, but sometimes it's not age, it's imbalance. Today, I want to walk you through the hidden relationship between 3 common vitamins, vitamin D, calcium, and the B complex, and how they can either support your leg strength and neuromuscular health or slowly erode it, depending on how they're used. We'll explore why vitamin D can backfire if magnesium is low, how calcium, taken the wrong way, might be causing your leg cramps, and how even safe doses of B6 and B12 can damage your nerves if you're not careful. More importantly, I'll show you how to use these nutrients correctly, based on real research, so you can support your legs, your nervous system, and your long-term independence. Because your legs are more than just muscle and bone. They're the foundation of movement, the anchor of balance, and, believe it or not, a window into your brain's future. So if you've been feeling off lately, tightness in the calves, slower walking, strange sensations in your feet, this may be the missing piece. Let's start by unraveling one of the most misunderstood vitamins of all, vitamin D, and why it might not be helping you the way you think. Number 1. The surprising truth about leg health. It's not just about muscles. A few years ago, I visited a friend's father at his home. He was in his early 70s, retired military, proud, disciplined, the kind of man who always stood tall. But that day, when he got up from his chair, something was different. His movement was cautious. His steps were shorter. He laughed it off, saying, "Just old legs doing old things." But I couldn't stop thinking about it, because what looked like a little stiffness was really the beginning of a slow, silent decline that eventually affected his balance, his memory, and even his mood. We tend to think of our legs as purely mechanical, joints, muscles, bones. And yes, all of that matters. But in truth, your legs are one of the most neurologically connected, metabolically active, and cognitively important parts of your body. Leg strength isn't just about walking farther or climbing stairs more easily. It's directly tied to how your brain functions, how well you recover from stress, and how long you maintain independence as you age. A landmark study from the Journal of Gerontology tracked over 300 female twins for more than a decade. The twin with stronger legs at the start of the study consistently showed better memory, stronger executive function, and greater resilience, even though their genetics and IQ were identical. Why? Because strong legs support a strong brain. Every time your legs move, whether walking, squatting, or climbing stairs, they don't just propel you forward. They send signals to your brain, stimulate hormones like BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and keep your nervous system engaged and alert. And when leg strength declines, it sets off a ripple effect. Your balance starts to wobble, your coordination slips, and over time, even your mental clarity can begin to fade. Now here's the surprising part. Most of that decline isn't just from lack of exercise. It often begins with nutrient imbalances, especially in the way we supplement vitamins like D, calcium, and the B complex. When these nutrients are out of sync, when we take one without its cofactors or push the dose too high, they don't just affect bones or blood markers. They interfere with the neuromuscular systems that keep your legs and your brain working as one. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Leg health is whole body health. It's not just about muscles. It's about signaling, stability, and the biology of aging well. So if your legs have been feeling off lately, more tired than usual, less steady, a bit stiff or crampy, it might not be a fitness issue. It might be your biology asking for a smarter kind of support. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next, starting with one of the most misunderstood vitamins out there, vitamin D. Let's take a closer look at how it works and why it may not be helping the way you think. Number 2, vitamin D isn't working unless you do this first. Not long ago, I spoke with a woman named Carol, 67 years old, active, vibrant, always looking for ways to stay ahead of her health. She told me she had been faithfully taking 5,000 IU of vitamin D every morning for over a year. But I still get leg cramps at night, she said, and I don't feel any stronger. Honestly, I expected more. But what Carol didn't know, and what most people aren't told, is that vitamin D doesn't work on its own. It's not a plug-and-play nutrient. Your body can't use vitamin D straight out of the supplement bottle. It has to go through a conversion process, first in the liver, then in the kidneys, before it becomes its active form, calcitriol. And for that conversion to happen, your body depends on something else entirely, magnesium. Think of magnesium as the spark that turns the key. Without it, vitamin D stays locked in its inactive form, circulating but not functioning. You could be taking the right dose every day and still be functionally deficient. A 2018 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people with adequate magnesium levels had better vitamin D activity in the body, even when taking lower doses, than those with higher D intake but low magnesium. So what does this mean for your legs? Active vitamin D is critical for proper calcium absorption, muscle contraction and nerve firing, mitochondrial energy production inside your muscle cells. In simple terms, it helps your muscles turn on, stay coordinated, and recover after movement. When you're low in magnesium, this system starts to falter. Your muscles fire less efficiently. You feel more fatigued, less stable, and slower to recover. That sudden feeling of wobbling when you stand up, the burning in your calves after a short walk, it might not be weakness, it might be biochemical miscommunication. For Carol, that was a breakthrough. She started adding 300 mg of magnesium glycinate each evening, paired with her vitamin D in the morning, and within 2 weeks her nighttime cramps eased. Her walking pace improved, and she said something beautiful: "I feel like I've reconnected with my legs." So here's the small but powerful shift you can make starting today. Never take vitamin D in isolation. Always pair it with magnesium. Ideally magnesium glycinate or citrate, 250-400 mg daily, taken with your largest meal. And one more key: movement matters too. Research shows that weight-bearing movement, like walking, squatting, or light resistance training, actually increases the number of vitamin D receptors in your muscle tissue. That means your body becomes more sensitive and responsive to the vitamin D you're taking simply by moving consistently. That's a critical insight, because now you're not just taking a supplement. You're activating a system. You're sending a message to your biology that says, "We need strength here, let's build it." But vitamin D isn't the only nutrient that can backfire if taken the wrong way. Next, we're going to look at calcium, the classic bone vitamin, and uncover how, without the right support, it can quietly lead to cramps, stiffness, and even damage your muscles from the inside out. Number 3, magnesium, the forgotten spark behind muscle power. A few months ago, I met Bill at a community class on active aging. He was in his early 70s, still mowed his own lawn, still played catch with his grandkids, but he'd been noticing something strange. My legs feel tired faster, he said. Not painful, just drained, like they've run out of fuel. He'd already done blood work. His vitamin D was fine. He stretched, stayed hydrated, but nothing helped. So I asked him a question he hadn't heard before. Have you checked your magnesium? He blinked. Magnesium, isn't that for sleep? And yes, magnesium does help with sleep, but it also does so much more. It's what I like to call the forgotten spark behind muscle power. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, many of them essential to how your muscles contract, relax, and recover. It's a cofactor in energy production, which means it helps your cells generate ATP, the actual fuel your muscles use to move. Without enough magnesium, your muscles literally can't perform at full strength. It also plays a key role in nerve transmission, helping signals travel from your brain to your legs and back again. When you're low in magnesium, those signals can get fuzzy, leading to cramps, twitching, stiffness, or just that heavy leg feeling like every step takes extra effort. And here's the kicker. Most older adults are mildly magnesium deficient and don't even know it. Why? Because blood tests don't always show it. Your body keeps magnesium levels in the blood tightly regulated, even if your tissues are depleted. Common causes of magnesium loss include diuretics or blood pressure meds, chronic stress, high sugar intake, low intake of magnesium-rich foods, like leafy greens, beans, seeds, and dark chocolate. Bill had been on a low-sodium diet and was also taking a diuretic. Classic risk factors. So he began supplementing with magnesium glycinate, 300 mg in the evening, and added foods like pumpkin seeds and spinach to his meals. Within 10 days, he sent me a message. I didn't expect this, but my legs feel alive again, like someone flipped a switch. And in a way, someone did. Magnesium is the switch. It's what allows all the other systems, vitamin D, calcium, even your nervous system, to work properly. So if you've been taking your supplements, doing your stretches, staying active, but your legs still feel flat or fatigued, this might be your missing piece. Here's a simple protocol. Take 300-400 mg of magnesium glycinate or citrate daily, preferably with your evening meal. Add magnesium-rich foods like almonds, avocado, and dark leafy greens to your diet. Pair magnesium with light movement during the day to improve circulation and absorption. Because muscle power doesn't just come from effort, it comes from support. And magnesium is foundational. Now that we've talked about the spark, let's talk about the substance that can build or quietly stiffen your legs depending on how it's used: calcium. What most people don't know is that calcium, when taken incorrectly, can move into the wrong places: your arteries, your joints, even your muscles. Let's take a closer look. Number 4. The calcium trap. How a bone-building vitamin can harden your legs. Let me tell you about Teresa. She was doing everything right, or so she thought. She had just turned 65, and after her last checkup, her doctor suggested taking calcium to keep her bones strong. 1 tablet in the morning, 1 at night, he said, so she followed the advice. No questions asked, but after a few months, Teresa started noticing something odd. Her legs felt tight in the morning, stiff, like rubber bands that wouldn't stretch. She had cramps at night, sometimes sharp enough to wake her up. Walking upstairs felt heavier than it used to. She thought maybe it was aging or dehydration. But here's what was really going on. Calcium, though critical for bone health, doesn't always go where you want it to. When taken in isolation, without its essential partners like vitamin K2 and magnesium, calcium can accumulate in soft tissues instead of bones. That means your arteries, your tendons, and yes, your leg muscles can become unintended storage lockers for excess calcium. And that buildup, it stiffens tissue, impairs blood flow, and interferes with normal muscle function. This phenomenon is well documented. A study in the British Medical Journal found that calcium supplements taken without cofactors increased the risk of cardiovascular events, likely due to calcium deposits in blood vessels. In your legs, this can show up as cramps during the night, tight calves or hamstrings, a feeling of hardness or restricted motion, heaviness or aching after walking or standing. It's not that calcium is the problem. It's how it's used or misused. To understand this, think of calcium like cement. It's essential for building, but if you pour it without a blueprint, it ends up in the wrong places. Vitamin K2 is the foreman. It directs calcium to the bones and teeth and keeps it out of your arteries and muscles. Magnesium is the assistant, making sure calcium enters cells properly and doesn't overwhelm the system. So if you're taking calcium supplements and noticing more stiffness than strength, your body might be telling you something important. Here's a simple, science-backed protocol. Limit total calcium intake, food plus supplements, to around 1,000,1, 200 mg per day. Always pair calcium with 100-200 mcg of vitamin K2, Mk7, and at least 250-400 mg of magnesium glycinate or citrate. Take calcium in divided doses with meals, never on an empty stomach. Use movement, like walking or light resistance training, to help direct calcium into bone tissue. That's what Teresa started doing. She adjusted her supplement routine, added more leafy greens, and incorporated a few minutes of step-ups into her mornings. A few weeks later, she said this: "My legs feel lighter, like I'm not dragging cinder blocks anymore." That's the power of doing calcium right, because strong bones shouldn't come at the cost of stiff muscles. Next, we're going to look at another surprising culprit behind leg weakness and nerve problems, one that's often labeled safe because it's water-soluble: vitamin B6 and B12. Let's talk about how even well-meaning doses of these vitamins can quietly cause nerve damage and what to do instead. Number 5. Vitamin K2, the missing GPS for calcium. A few years ago, I met a retired pharmacist named James. He was sharp, curious, and deeply invested in his own health. He told me something that stuck with me. I've always believed in calcium. I took it for decades. But no one ever mentioned vitamin K2, not once. And now, my arteries are stiff, my knees ache, and I feel like I've been following a map with no destination. That's exactly what calcium is without vitamin K2, a road trip without GPS. You've got the fuel, you're ready to go, but the calcium doesn't know where it's supposed to land. And when that happens, it settles wherever it can: your arteries, your soft tissues, your joints. Let's break this down. Vitamin K2 is not the same as vitamin K1, which is found in leafy greens and helps with blood clotting. K2, especially in the Mk7 form, has a different job entirely. It activates two key proteins: osteocalcin, which tells calcium to go to your bones and teeth; matrix Gla protein, MGP, which keeps calcium out of soft tissue like arteries and cartilage. Without K2, calcium becomes a wanderer. It has good intentions but no direction. And here's what that looks like in real life: calcium building up in the walls of your arteries, reduced flexibility in your joints, that strange, dense feeling in your legs, like your tissues are packed in. And worst of all, reduced leg circulation and muscle recovery. Studies have backed this up. One landmark trial, published in Thrombosis and Hemostasis, showed that vitamin K2 supplementation reduced arterial stiffness in postmenopausal women, many of whom had been taking calcium for years. So why is K2 missing from most supplement routines? Because it's relatively new to the spotlight, and it's not abundant in most Western diets. Traditional Japanese diets, rich in natto, a fermented soy product, provide high amounts of K2, explaining why they've historically had lower rates of arterial calcification, despite high calcium intake. But most Americans don't eat natto, and the result? A silent epidemic of calcium misplacement and stiff, aching legs that aren't just a sign of aging but of missing signals. Here's a practical takeaway. If you take calcium, always pair it with 100-200 mcg of vitamin K2 Mk7. You can also get K2 from grass-fed dairy, egg yolks, or fermented foods, but supplements are often necessary. For maximum effect, take K2 alongside vitamin D3 and magnesium, creating a synergy that tells calcium exactly where to go. As for James, he added K2 to his routine, cleaned up his supplement stack, and started walking daily. "My knees still creak a little," he told me, "but they bend easier now, and my legs don't feel locked anymore." That's what happens when your body starts getting the right signals. Now that we've guided calcium to the right place, let's turn our attention to something just as crucial, but potentially dangerous in excess: B vitamins. Coming up next, we'll explore how too much vitamin B6 or B12 can actually damage your leg nerves, and how to use these powerful nutrients safely. Number 6. B6 and B12 overload. When safe, vitamins attack your nerves. A woman named Sandra once wrote to me. She was in her late 50s, a retired school teacher who loved gardening, walking her dog, and making smoothies every morning. She had started taking a high-potency B-complex every day after seeing a health influencer talk about boosting energy naturally. At first, she felt great, but over time, something strange started happening. She began to notice tingling in her feet, a light burning sensation in her calves when she walked, and a weird numbness that crept up after sitting for too long. Her doctor checked her circulation, normal. Her blood sugar, normal too. But the symptoms persisted. Eventually, a neurologist did a full panel and found the culprit: vitamin B6 toxicity. Let's pause for a second. Isn't B6 water-soluble? Doesn't the body just flush out the excess? That's the common belief, but it's not always true, especially when you're taking megadoses daily, far beyond what your body actually needs. Here's what the science says. Vitamin B6 is essential. It helps produce neurotransmitters, supports brain function, and aids nerve repair. But in high doses, especially above 50 to 100 mg per day, it can become neurotoxic. That means it starts damaging the very nerves it's supposed to protect. In Sandra's case, her daily B-complex had 250 mg of B6, 5 times the upper safe limit. And over time, that built up in her system, quietly irritating her peripheral nerves. The symptoms: tingling in the feet or legs, a burning or buzzing feeling at night, numbness or dead leg sensation after sitting, difficulty with coordination or balance. Now, vitamin B12 is a different story, but it's not completely innocent either. High doses of B12, especially in people who don't need it, can mask other nutrient deficiencies like folate, or even contribute to imbalances in certain individuals. A 2019 JAMA Network Open study linked high-dose B12 supplements with increased fracture risk and even reduced mobility in older adults. So, what's the lesson here? Even with vitamins, more isn't always better, especially when those vitamins are interacting directly with your nervous system. Here's what I recommend. Don't exceed 50 mg of B6 per day unless prescribed. Most people only need 10-25 mg daily, and many get enough from food. Only supplement B12 if you've been tested and are actually low, common in vegans, older adults, or those with absorption issues. If you're taking a B-complex, check the label. Many energy blends pack in way too much B6. Watch for signs like leg tingling, numbness, or strange sensations, especially if they came on gradually. As for Sandra, she stopped her high-dose B-complex, added magnesium and omega-3s to support nerve repair, and focused on movement therapy. Within a few months, her symptoms began to fade. "I thought I was helping my body," she told me, "but I wasn't listening to it." And that's the real insight here. Your body speaks in whispers before it screams. Learn to listen early. Next, we'll talk about one of the most fascinating relationships in the body, how your legs and brain are in constant conversation, and how strong legs don't just mean better mobility. They mean better memory, sharper thinking, and emotional resilience. Let's explore. Number 7, the neuromuscular triangle: movement, magnesium, and D3. A few years ago, I met an active 62-year-old named Carl. He wasn't a gym rat, just someone who liked walking trails, lifting light weights, and staying sharp. But then something changed. His legs started feeling heavy. His energy dropped. He told me, "I'm taking my vitamin D. I'm eating well, but I just feel slower." So we sat down, looked at his habits, and something clicked. Carl was missing two things that turned vitamin D from a passive pill into a powerful signal: movement and magnesium. This trio, movement, magnesium, and D3, is what I call the neuromuscular triangle. And when all three are active, something amazing happens. Your nerves fire cleaner, your muscles contract more efficiently, and your legs regain power and precision. Let's break down why this works. Vitamin D3. Vitamin D does more than support immunity or bones. It plays a direct role in muscle contraction, nerve firing, and energy production. But here's the key: it doesn't act alone. Magnesium. Magnesium is the co-activator. Without it, vitamin D remains stuck in its inactive form. Your cells can't use it. Magnesium also regulates muscle relaxation, protects against cramps, and supports mitochondrial energy, the power stations of your cells. Movement, and then movement comes in, not just as exercise but as a biological amplifier. When you move, especially with weight-bearing exercises, your muscle cells increase their sensitivity to vitamin D. They literally open up and become more receptive. A fascinating study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that muscle cells have more vitamin D receptors after exercise. That means your body doesn't just need nutrients, it needs a reason to use them. In Carl's case, he was taking D3 daily, but sitting too much, and he wasn't getting enough magnesium. Once he added a magnesium glycinate supplement in the evening and began doing short daily resistance circuits, everything changed. His legs felt lighter. His balance improved. "It's like my muscles woke up again," he said. Here's the practical protocol you can use. Take vitamin D3 in the morning with a meal and healthy fat. Add 300–400 mg of magnesium glycinate with dinner to support overnight repair. Do 10–15 minutes of resistance movement 3–5 days a week. Squats, step-ups, lunges, or bands, whatever works for you. Get a little sunlight while moving if you can. Even 10 minutes helps activate D3. The triangle only works when all sides are connected. Movement improves receptor sensitivity. Magnesium activates D3. And D3 supports the muscles and nerves that allow you to move again. So, if you're feeling weak, fatigued, or like your legs just don't fire the way they used to, don't just look at your vitamin bottle. Look at how your nutrients, your movement, and your recovery are working together. And speaking of working together, in our next section, we'll explore how your legs and your brain form one of the most powerful feedback loops in your body. What happens in your lower body doesn't just affect your balance. It shapes your memory, your mood, and even your long-term brain health. Let's dive in. Number 8. When strong legs save your brain. Years ago, I worked with a retired firefighter named Ray. He was 68, full of stories and grit, but lately he'd noticed something that really scared him. Not just that his legs felt weaker, but that his mind felt slower. He couldn't find words as quickly. He started forgetting where he put things, and he was scared it meant something serious. "I thought I was just getting old," he told me. But then I read that my legs might have something to do with it. And Ray was absolutely right. It turns out that the health of your legs and your brain are deeply connected, and not in a vague, feel-good way, but in a measurable biological sense. A groundbreaking study from gerontology followed over 300 twins for 10 years. The twin with stronger legs, not smarter, not better educated, consistently scored higher on memory and executive function tests. Even when genetics and lifestyle were similar, leg strength predicted brain performance. Why? Because your legs are not just for walking, they're powerful metabolic engines. They help regulate blood sugar, produce mitochondria, your body's energy factories, and release specialized proteins called myokines. chemical messengers that talk directly to your brain. One of the most important of these is BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. It supports neuroplasticity, learning, mood, and memory. And here's the beautiful part. The best way to boost BDNF. Move your legs. Even a short walk, set of squats, or stair climb can trigger a surge of BDNF. That's why you often feel clearer, calmer, even happier after movement. It's not in your imagination. Your legs are sending a biochemical signal to your brain that says, "We're safe, we're strong, let's grow." On the flip side, when leg strength declines, especially with age, brain volume often shrinks as well, particularly in areas like the hippocampus, which is crucial for memory. Falls become more likely, mental fog rolls in, and confidence slowly erodes. But here's the good news. It's not too late. Just 2 to 3 sessions of lower body strength training per week, even bodyweight movements, can begin to reverse that trend. The key is consistency. Here, that's what I had Ray do. Light resistance band leg extensions while seated. Slow, controlled squats holding onto a countertop. Gentle backward, walking to improve coordination and activate underused muscles. He started small, just 5 minutes a day. Within weeks, his legs felt more stable, but even more inspiring, his mind felt sharper. "It's like I turned the lights back on upstairs," he said, smiling. The lesson: movement doesn't just preserve your independence. It protects your cognition. Your legs are literally pumping life into your brain every step of the way. And now that you understand this connection, it's time to bring everything together. In the next section, I'll walk you through a simple, science-backed 7-day protocol you can try at home, combining movement, nutrient timing, and daily practices to reboot your leg strength and mental clarity. Let's turn knowledge into action. Number 9, rethink your supplements, the daily audit. A woman named Carol once told me she had a cabinet full of vitamins, but her legs still cramped at night. She felt tired, achy, and frustrated. "I'm doing all the right things," she said. "Taking calcium, vitamin D, a B complex. So why does it feel like I'm getting worse, not better?" I asked her a simple question. "Have you ever audited your supplements?" She looked confused. "I thought vitamins were always safe." And that's where most of us go wrong. We're told that more vitamins equal more protection. But the truth is, supplements are powerful chemical tools, and just like medication, they need context, balance, and timing to work well. Let's break it down. Start with vitamin D. Are you taking it alone? If so, your body may not be activating it efficiently. Without magnesium, D3 can sit in your system unused, or worse, contribute to calcium imbalances. Then look at calcium. Are you pairing it with vitamin K2 and magnesium? If not, calcium might be drifting into your arteries and soft tissues instead of strengthening your bones, contributing to leg stiffness and cramps. Next, your B vitamins. Are you taking more than 50 mg of B6 per day, thinking it's harmless? High-dose B6 over time can actually damage nerves, leading to tingling, burning, or numbness in the legs, symptoms people often confuse with poor circulation or neuropathy. Here's what a simple supplement audit might look like. Check your labels. Look for megadoses of any single nutrient, especially B6 or calcium. Ask yourself, am I taking this because of a lab result or just because it was recommended? Pair wisely. Always combine D3 with magnesium and sunlight. Combine calcium with K2. Never take B6 without monitoring your dose and need. Cycle when possible. Your body's needs shift. If you've been on the same stack for over 6 months, it's worth reevaluating. Get tested. Yearly blood work for vitamin D, B12, B6, and magnesium levels can tell you more than guesswork ever will. Back to Carol. When she cleaned up her supplement routine, dropped her B6 to 25 mg, and added K2 to her calcium and magnesium mix, the cramps disappeared. And for the first time in years, she said she felt clear and grounded again. The lesson: supplements can heal or harm depending on how you use them, The difference isn't in the label, it's in the wisdom behind it. So before you take another capsule, ask, is this serving my system or confusing it? Because when you combine the right nutrients in the right amounts at the right time, you don't just prevent decline, you empower your biology. And now, in our final section, we're going to tie all of this together. It's time to shift from passive patient to active practitioner, to take ownership of your health, starting with the legs that carry you through life. Let's bring it home. There's a quiet moment most of us have felt, though we rarely talk about it. Maybe it's when you're standing up from a chair and your legs hesitate, or when you take the stairs and feel that faint burning behind your knees. Or maybe it's just that strange fatigue that creeps in faster than it used to. These small moments might seem insignificant, but they're whispers from your body asking for attention, not panic, not perfection, just a little more wisdom. We've covered a lot today. How vitamin D doesn't work without magnesium, how too much B6 can silently fray your nerves, and how calcium without direction can harden the very muscles meant to move you. But underneath all of that science is one simple truth. Your body is trying to heal. It's not broken, it's responsive. It's listening for the right signal. That signal might be a better supplement pairing, like taking magnesium at dinner. Or it might be movement in the morning, a 5-minute walk that helps D3 do its job. It could even be something as small as replacing a high-dose B complex with a balanced one. And that's the power you have, to turn knowledge into momentum. I remember a man named Frank. 68 years old, former firefighter, had always been active. But after retiring, he slowed down. His legs started aching, stairs became difficult, and his confidence shrank with his strength. We didn't overhaul his life. We just started with one change. He added magnesium. He swapped his calcium for a blend that included K2, and he committed to walking for 10 minutes every morning before breakfast. After a month, the cramps faded. After 2, he was walking a mile. And after 3, he told me something I'll never forget. I didn't just get stronger legs, I got my hope back. That's what this is really about. Not pills, not perfection, but possibility. So here's your invitation: choose one change, one step, one adjustment, audit a supplement, try a new routine, walk a little more, rest a little deeper, and see how your body responds. Because the path to strength isn't built in a day. It's built in the quiet choices we make each morning. One glass of water, one dose of the right cofactor, one squat, one breath, and over time those choices become momentum. And that momentum becomes freedom. So if this video sparked a shift in how you think about your legs, your health, or your supplements, share it with someone who needs that same spark. And remember, you are not passive in your healing. You are the builder of your foundation. One change, one step stronger, and tomorrow brighter than today. If this video gave you a fresh way to care for your legs and your life, don't forget to like, leave a comment with the one change you're starting today, and subscribe for more science-backed tools to help you move better, feel stronger, and stay sharp as the years go by. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, move with care, supplement with wisdom, and stay curious.